kwa maana ya fatigue, maumivu ya mgongo, lakini vile vile mtu kuwa na ugonjwa wa mpox ambao kama nilivyosema umeshaingia hapa kwetu nchini. Sasa tunahitaji kuchukua tahadhari kwa sababu kwa taarifa ambazo tunazo ni kwamba maeneo mengi nchini yametoa taarifa ya uwepo wa wagonjwa, na kufikia sasa ni kwamba tuna mikoa 10 ambayo tayari imethibitika kuwa na wagonjwa, na si vibaya tukaifahamu mikoa hiyo. Mkoa wa kwanza ulikuwa ni Dar es Salaam, mkoa wa pili ni Pwani, mkoa wa 3 ni Morogoro, mkoa wa 4 ni Dodoma, na mkoa wa 10 ni mkoa wa Mwanza. Hii ni mikoa ambayo mpaka sasa inawahisiwa wa wagonjwa, ikiwepo mkoa wa Tanga, mkoa wa Iringa, mkoa wa Katavi, mkoa wa Kilimanjaro, mkoa wa Geita pamoja na mkoa wa Arusha. Kwa hiyo kwa haraka unaweza kuona kwamba ugonjwa uko maeneo mbalimbali nchini. Hivyo tuna kila sababu ya msingi ya kuchukua tahadhari. Sasa tahadhari za kuchukua ni ambazo dalili nimeshazizungumza hapo awali. La pili ni kuepuka kusalimiana kwa kukumbatiana, kubusiana au kushikana mikono kama ilivyo kawaida yetu. Nafikiri hata tulipokuwa tunaingia hapa wengi wetu tumesalimiana kwa kushikana mikono. Sasa hiyo ni mojawapo ya njia za kuambukiza ugonjwa huu wa mpox. Lakini vile vile kugusa vyombo, matandiko, nguo au magodoro ambayo yametumiwa na mgonjwa wa mpox. Lakini vile vile kula au kugusa mizoga au wanyama, hasa wanyama pori wenye maambukizo ya ugonjwa wa mpox. Lakini vile vile tunakumbushwa kuepuka kusogeleana kwa karibu na mtu mwenye dalili za mpox wakati wa kuongea. Na vile vile tunashauriwa kama tunaongea na mtu ambaye ana ugonjwa huu ambaye umethibitika kabisa, basi ni vema kutumia barakoa, kwa sababu njia nyingine ya kuambukiza ugonjwa ni kupitia matone au droplets ambazo zinatoka mdomoni au katika pua. Kwa hiyo hizi ni tahadhari ambazo tunapaswa kuzichukua. Kwa hiyo rai yetu ni kwamba tuwapo katika kusanyiko hili, basi hizi hatua au afua ambazo zimeelezwa za kuchukua ili kujikinga na ugonjwa huu, basi kila mmoja wetu aweze kuzichukua. Lakini vile vile ukijisikia kukohoa, tunashauri tusifanye zile practice tulizozoea. Mara nyingi mtu anapokohoa anatumia viganja vyake kufunika pua au mdomo. Badala yake tutumie kiwiko, sehemu ya kiwiko, ili kupunguza maambukizi ya ugonjwa. Lakini vile vile mambo ya kufanya mengineyo, tunasisitiza sana usafi wa mikono, swala zima la kunawa mikono kwa maji tiririka na sabuni. Lakini kwa sababu hatutembei muda wote na maji tiririka na sabuni, tunashauriwa kutumia vipukusi, Kiswahili hicho, lakini Kiingereza unasema sanitizer. Ukiweza kuwa na kitu kama hiki kidogo ambacho unaweza kukiweka kwenye begi lako au sehemu ya mfuko au pochi, inasaidia kwa maana ya kuwa na usafi wa mikono yako. Kwa hiyo ndugu washiriki, tuliona ni vema basi tuweke hili angalizo ili tuweze kuchukua hizo tahadhari. Lakini jambo la msingi ni kuwatoa hofu, kwamba naomba tusiwe na hofu kwamba sasa kuna gonjwa la hatari sana limeingia katika nchi yetu. Mpox ipo katika makundi ya magonjwa ambayo tayari yalishawahi tokea huko nyuma, ikiwepo ndui ile au kwa Kiingereza nasema smallpox, lakini matetekuwanga kwa maana ya chickenpox, Kwa hiyo yako katika kundi moja la ugonjwa huu wa monkeypox. Hauna madhara makubwa sana kwa maana ya kupoteza uhai wa watu wengi, lakini unaua. Naomba nirudie. Tunaposema kwamba si ugonjwa wa kutisha sana, haimaanishi kwamba ugonjwa huu hauui. Ugonjwa huu vile vile unaua kama tahadhari hazijachukuliwa, au kama maambukizi yatakwenda katika maeneo ambayo ni hatarishi, ikiwepo katika moyo wa binadamu. Kwa hiyo tunakumbushwa kuhakikisha kwamba tunachukua hatua za tahadhari ili tusiweze kupata maambukizi ya ugonjwa huu. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza na asubuhi njema.
Ndugu washiriki, ifuatayo ni tahadhari tu ya kiusalama, kwamba tuko wengi hapa na wakati mwingine inaweza katokea jambo ambalo litahitaji tutoke wote kwa haraka, evacuation procedure. Tuna milango mikubwa miwili, upande ule na upande wa kulia kwangu, na tuna mlango mwingine hapo ambayo inaweza katusaidia tutakapotakiwa kutoka kwa haraka, pale ambapo tutatoa tahadhari hiyo, labda kuna hatari ya moto au tetemeko au tatizo lolote lile ambalo litataka tuondoke hapa ili tuendelee kuwa salama. Milango hii itatupeleka sehemu ambazo zitakuwa wazi na tutaenda kukusanyika huko. Ikitokea hivyo na umesahau simu yako, iwe ni iPhone, iwe Samsung, tafadhali usirudi kuifuata, kwa sababu mara nyingi tuna uzoefu kwamba wanaorudi huwa hawatoki tena. Kwa hiyo tunaomba tuchukue hilo kwa umakini. Lakini itakapotokea kuna mtu ambaye anahisi ana tatizo la kiafya, basi secretariat, wale wote ambao wamevaa t-shirt nyeusi pamoja na ndugu Mwakitalima ambaye ametoka kuzungumza hapa, watakuwa tayari kutoa ushauri. Asanteni sana. Sasa kuanza rasmi ratiba, naomba nimkaribishe mkurugenzi mkuu wa EWURA Dr. James Mwenyekule ili aweze kuja kutoa neno la ukaribisho na kutambulisha tuliopo hapa. Halafu baadaye pia atamkaribisha naibu katibu mkuu kwa ajili ya kuwasalimia ndugu wajumbe. Mkurugenzi mkuu wa EWURA, karibu tafadhali. Karibu.
Asante. Ndugu madadangu Agnes Maena, naibu katibu mkuu Wizara ya Maji, mzee wangu mwalimu wa wengi, na kiongozi wetu Profesa Mwaka, mwenyekiti wa bodi ya wakurugenzi wa EWURA, wajumbe wa bodi ya wakurugenzi ya EWURA, mzee wangu Manongi na mzee wangu Injinia Mwihava, viongozi kutoka Wizara ya Maji, viongozi kutoka EWURA, wakurugenzi wa bodi kutoka kwenye mamlaka za maji, wakuu wa taasisi chini ya Wizara ya Maji, watendaji wakuu wa mamlaka za maji, washirika wa maendeleo na wawakilishi kutoka kwenye vyuo vya elimu ya juu, waandishi wa habari walioko hapa, mabibi na mabwana. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Nimemsahau ndugu yangu kutoka ZURA. Karibu sana, nimefurahi kuwaona. Naomba wenzangu kutoka upande wa pili, ZURA, naomba tumsimame tafadhali. Karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. Amba mkae. Ndugu mabibi na mabwana, nitumie nafasi hii kwanza kumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu mwingi wa rehema ambaye ametupa fursa ya kuwa na uzima na afya hata tukaweza kukusanyika mahali hapa asubuhi ya leo. Ninafahamu kwamba tuko kwenye shamla ya wiki ya maji, na kwa mujibu wa ratiba ambayo tumepewa na Wizara ya Maji kwamba tarehe ya leo na kesho ni siku kwa ajili ya EWURA, ambapo kimsingi tunafanya uzinduzi wa taarifa za utendaji wa mamlaka za maji kwa mwaka 23-24. Mabibi na mabwana, nafahamu jana tulikuwa na kikao kizuri ambapo tumejadili mambo mengi kuhusiana na maendeleo ya sekta yetu ya maji. Nitakuwa mnyimi wa fadhila kusema kwamba katika mjadala wa jana tumejifunza vitu vingi. Mtakubaliana nami kwamba serikali chini ya Rais Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan imefanya kazi kubwa pamoja na washirika wa maendeleo katika kuboresha utoaji wa huduma katika sekta ya maji. Katika mjadala ambao tulikuwa nao jana, pamoja na mafanikio makubwa ambayo tuliyaongea, ikiwemo kuongezeka kwa idadi ya watu wanaopata huduma ya maji maeneo ya vijijini na mijini, lakini pia katika kikao cha jana tuliangazia changamoto ambazo zipo katika sekta yetu ya maji, ikiwemo swala la gharama kubwa za miradi, swala la upotevu wa maji, na pia swala la athari ya mabadiliko ya tabia nchi katika utoaji wa huduma ya maji. Ndugu mabibi na mabwana, kazi kubwa tulionayo leo ni pamoja na kutaka kujadili kwa pamoja kwamba jana tumetambua uwepo wa changamoto, lakini kwenye kusanyiko hili kuna wataalamu ambao wanayo tiba ya kukabiliana na changamoto hizo. Kwa hiyo katika siku ya leo tutakuwa na mijadala ya masuala mbalimbali ambayo yanalenga katika uboreshaji wa utoaji wa huduma za maji. Tutakuwa na wataalamu ambao watatueleza kwa habari ya namna ya kukabiliana na mabadiliko ya tabia nchi katika utoaji wa huduma. Watatueleza pia kwa habari ya namna ya kudhibiti upotevu wa maji, lakini pia watatueleza kwa habari ya teknolojia mbalimbali ambazo tunatakiwa kuzitumia katika utoaji wa huduma. Na kwa sababu siku ya leo ni masuala ya kitaalamu zaidi, isingependeza sana kuendelea kutoa hotuba. bali tutoe nafasi kwa wataalamu waweze kuanza kufanya mawasilisho. Na baada ya kusema haya mengi ambayo nimeyasema, maana sio machache, naomba nitumie nafasi hii kumkaribisha dadangu Agnes Meena aje aseme neno ili tuweze kupona. Dada, karibu sana.
Habari ya asubuhi. Habari ya asubuhi. Wote tumefunga nini? Mwenyekiti wa bodi pamoja na wajumbe wa bodi ya EWURA, management ya Wizara ya Maji, management ya EWURA, bodi za wakurugenzi, mamlaka za maji, wakuu wa taasisi chini ya Wizara ya Maji, watendaji wa mamlaka mbalimbali tuliopo, washirika wa maendeleo, washirika wa vyuo vya elimu ya juu, Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Kwa kweli nimekuja kwa ajili ya kuwasalimia na kuwapongeza. Kwanza tunamshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye ametuwezesha kufika leo hapa kwa ajili ya kazi kubwa ya kuangalia kupokea taarifa za utendaji wa mamlaka za maji. Tupo katika safari yetu ya wiki ya maji ambayo tumeianzia Gairo. Kama tunakumbuka wengi, tumeanzia Gairo pale wakina mama kuhamasisha kwa ajili ya uvunaji wa maji. Tukatoka hapo tukaenda Kidunda, tukaweka jiwe la msingi, lakini tukaenda Same Mwanga kwa ajili ya uzinduzi wa mradi mkubwa wa Same Mwanga, lakini tukawa pia na siku 365. Jana tulikuwa na siku nyingine ya review ya sekta ya maji. Leo tuko kwenye kupokea taarifa za utendaji. Kwa hiyo mimi niwatakie siku njema ya leo, tupokee taarifa hizi ili tuone changamoto zile ambazo tumekuwa tukikumbana nazo na jinsi ya kuzitatua ili tuweze kuperform vizuri katika siku zinazokuja. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana Naibu Katibu Mkuu Wizara ya Maji, lakini pia asante kwa Mkurugenzi Mkuu wa EWURA Dr. James Andilile kwa neno la ukaribisho na kutuambia tuko hapa kufanya nini. Naomba tuwapigie makofi kwa mara nyingine tena. Karibuni. Sasa hivi tutaendelea kusikiliza mawasilisho mbalimbali kutoka kwa wataalamu kutoka EWURA, na bila kupoteza muda kwa sababu tuko nyuma ya wakati kidogo, naomba kumkaribisha Mhandisi Dickson Semkuyu kutoka EWURA. Mhandisi huyu atafanya wasilisho juu ya usimamizi na upotevu wa maji. Karibu sana Mhandisi Dickson. Makofi tafadhali akiwa anakuja. Anakuja. Tumpe makofi jamani, tumuongeze confidence kidogo. Karibu sana.
ni mrefu. Hello. Hapo sawa. Ndugu washiriki, mabibi na mabwana, Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Kwa majina anaitwa Dickson Semkuyu. Kama nilivyotambulishwa, ninawasilisha kwenu mada ya upotevu wa maji, status of non-revenue water in Tanzania mainland. Ningekuwa ni vizuri nge display your own slides. Wasilisho langu lina sehemu 6 kama inavyoonekana hapo. Tukianza na utangulizi, EWURA ina jukumu la kudhibiti mamlaka za maji, ikiwemo swala la upotevu wa maji. So in English we say EWURA promote technical and economic efficiency in provision of water services. As we all know, demand for water has increased and put pressure to WSSAs to increase water production. However, over the past 10 years, a significant amount of water has been lost through non-revenue water. The national average has been above 20%, but the National 5-Year Development Plan provides the national target to reduce non-revenue water to 20% by 25-26. So you can see we have just 1 year remain to reach the target. At the end of this presentation, you will predict, is it possible to manage a reduction in non-revenue water will increase supply of water to consumer and eventually increase revenue. As I take you through the presentation, it's important to understand some terms commonly used in non-revenue water management. One is unaccounted for water, and the other is non-revenue water itself. The unaccounted for water is the difference between the net production, the total water produced by the utility, and the consumption, the volume of water that can be accounted for by legitimate or authorized consumption. Whereas the non-revenue water is the difference between the volume of water that is delivered to the network and the billed authorized consumption. That is the total water production minus the amount of water that is billed, that is supplied to consumers. So you can notice that the non-revenue water is the total net production, that is total water production, minus the billed revenue water. So in the other way, we say unaccounted for water, if you plus the volume of water which is accounted but there is no revenue is collected, such as firefighting and the other uses, this we call unaccounted for water, but no revenue is collected. We account them as we allow the uses of firefighting and the others, like a flushing of system and flushing of sewers. We allow these uses, but we don't get revenue. So if you take the unaccounted for water plus the water which is accounted for, we get non-revenue. The water that we don't collect revenue. And there are other two terms very important, that is physical laws and the commercial laws. So the physical laws is the loss of water through pipes, tanks, and the connections, whereas the commercial laws or apparent laws is the loss due to water consumed but not paid for. So the water which is consumed but is not paid, we call it commercial loss or apparent loss. And as you can see in the slides, there are numerous areas where we can lose water. So it's shown in the slides there. I cannot mention all. Also, it's very important to notice unbilled authorized consumption that contain firefighting, flushing of sewers, water provided for free, and water for cleaning of sewers, as I've said. So you notice that non-revenue water contain three parts, as I've shown there. There is physical loss, apparent loss, and unbilled authorized consumption. That's the consumption of water which we do not have revenue for it. It's also important to note EWURA balance sheet or water audit. What is water audit? And what is EWURA water balance? Before the year 2000, the term unaccounted for water, as I have defined here, was very famous. But after the year 2000, this term unaccounted for water is no longer famous and is no longer used. Why? Because International Water Association published a guideline on how to curb non-revenue water in the year 2000, where it's come to a new approach now, where everything should be accounted. So the process of quantifying water from the water supply to the consumer is called water audit. So every component of water loss should be quantified. So due to this concept, the unaccounted for water which is not accounted is no longer used. The water which is not accounted contains two parts, that is apparent loss and real loss. On the other words, real loss is the physical loss, apparent loss is the commercial loss. So if you add these two, you get water losses. In the other word, water losses is called unaccounted for water. So the term unaccounted for water, that is water losses, leave the unbilled consumption, that which I have already mentioned to you. So as you can see here, the non-revenue water contains three parts. That is unbilled consumption, the water which is used for other purposes is allowed to use and is accounted for, and apparent losses and the real loss, which is UFW. So the non-revenue itself is the difference between the water supplied to the city and the revenue water or the billed consumption. It's very important to note here that the billed consumption can be metered or unmetered. So this is the very simplified version of EWURA water balance. Now come to status of non-revenue water in our country, the mainland Tanzania. As you can see the figures here, as compared to other countries, where we stand, the non-revenue water is for the year 2024, that's the financial year 23-24, stand at 36.8%. You can compare with the other countries, but the data obtained from IBNet The IBNet is not updated currently, but the figure can tell the story. You can see the developed country and developing countries. The non-revenue water affect mostly of the developing countries, including Tanzania. So during the year 23-24, we as EWURA, we have collected data from water utilities regarding the EWURA water balance. So all the utilities have estimated the components of water losses. By estimation, it's estimated that large amount of water is lost through apparent losses, that is commercial losses, that is account for 59% as compared to 40% of real losses. So you can see the target to hunt reduction of non-revenue water. But every loss is important to deal with. Also, we went further to check the composition of each component of non-revenue water, starting from apparent losses to real losses. The sub-composition of apparent losses. We divided into two. There are those responsible for customer metering inaccuracies and unauthorized consumptions that account for all other uses as mentioned in the past slides there. You can see here the composition of commercial loss that's account from as water flow from the treatment plant to customer. Water is lost through metering, billing, and collection. So in apparent losses, a great amount is lost through unauthorized consumption. That account to 52%, as compared to real losses components where the large amount is through leakage on the mains as compared to leakage on the connections. That account to 59%. So if we look at the data for 10 years consecutively, from 2014-15 to 23-24, the non-revenue water in terms of percentage has been varying, as you can see, but there is a reduction from 43 to 36 in 23-24. So we can see we are making a step toward the national goal of 20% with the 1 year remaining. We need a miracle here. So the non-revenue water increases with the increase in water production, but it's not always the case. Sometimes if you put more effort, you can reverse it. It's normally agreed in all water utilities, and in practice wanasema ukiongeza maji tu maji yanazidi kupotea, but it's not always the case. If you put effort, it has been demonstrated in the past years and even in the current years. There is a lot of efforts to increase water production, as you can see, but also has to go in hand with the reduction of non-revenue water. From the year 2014 to 15, water production increases, but from 2017-18 up to 2020-21, you can see there is a slightly increase in water production, but non-revenue water keep on varying. You can see the trends for big WSSAs. I selected 5. You can ask me why 5? Because this contributes much to total water produced nationwide for all WSSAs. For instance, DAWASA contributed 32% of total water produced by all WSSAs. All these 5 WSSA combined contributed to 57% of all water produced nationwide. So the trend of variation of non-revenue water is commanded. The national average trend is commanded by the trend of. You can just notice the trend of DAWASA with yellow. The trend of DAWASA with yellow is almost similar to the national trend average with the blue color there. You can see. So DAWASA largely affect the national average because of the great water produced by the utility. Now, another interesting thing to me is WSSA supplied by Kashiwasa has non-revenue trend of below 30%. From the data, it's very easy to tell that being supplied by Kashiwasa is a medicine for non-revenue water, but we have Shinyanga, we have Kahama here. They, throughout the 10 years, the non-revenue water remained below 30%. You can see the trend. But now come Tabora, Igunga, and Nzega. You can see the circle there. What happened in the year 2021? They are here, they can say, but we all know there was effort to increase water production in this utility by joining to Kashiwasa. So soon after joining, they follow the trend of Kahama and Shinyanga of non-revenue water below 30, as you can see. And Tabora, just after joining, started to decrease in non-revenue water, and this year, I mean the year 2023-24, has joined Kahama and Shinyanga to live with the non-revenue water below 30%. Now come to the impact of non-revenue water to the revenue. You can see we are losing a lot of money here in terms of revenue. For instance, during the year, financial year 23-24, all WSSAs with non-revenue greater than 20%, here we allow the loss of 20%. Suppose the WSSAs manage to be within 20%, so they would gain 114.12 billion Tanzania shillings. That is the loss. And if we take the boundary to 25%, the revenue losses account for 85.25 billions. The figure keep on decreasing as we increase the boundary for non-revenue water. As usual, I take the 5 big utilities comparison. You can see DAWASA leading, losing 46.8 billion Tanzania shillings during the year 23-24 for non-revenue boundary of greater than 20%. And the list is Dodoma in the two, comparing to other 5 utilities. Now, what EWURA has done in combating non-revenue water, or in reduction of non-revenue water. EWURA is monitoring the performance of WSSAs, including reduction in non-revenue water. Also, during the year 2021, EWURA published guidelines for water meter selection, installation, and testing. This provides guidelines for the proper ways to select in order to minimize the leakage, and also to manage water meters, that is replacement and the other things, specifications, everything is contained in the published guideline. Also, EWURA conducted a study in the year in the financial year 2021 on non-revenue water, and after the study, EWURA published the guideline for developing non-revenue water reduction strategy for WSSAs in 2022. So the guideline is very important as it harmonizes the approaches in identifying root causes and strategies used to curb non-revenue water. As we know, the strategy used by different WSSAs vary across the country, so it's very important to benchmark and to have a guideline that harmonize the approaches in reducing non-revenue water. Also, EWURA conducted training for preparation of the developing non-revenue water reduction strategies. The training was conducted to all WSSAs. Also, EWURA monitor preparation and implementation of non-revenue reduction strategy in WSSAs. Also, EWURA developed a model for preparation of EWURA water balance. It's very important, every utility, to have EWURA water balance, because everything should be counted. There is no unaccounted for water. Everything should be counted and can be counted, whether by metering or by estimation. So it's very important to have EWURA water balance. So EWURA developed a model in the Maji system that is used by utility to estimate the losses across the non-revenue water components. Last is the non-revenue reduction challenges in WSSAs. These are not all. I know there are other challenges, but I've mentioned few. To mention few is inadequate WSSA priority or commitment in non-revenue reduction. When I say commitment, the issue of Kashiwasa comes in. The commitment, the priority. If you ask Shinyanga, Kahama, the issue of non-revenue water is tied with the monthly bill issued by Kashiwasa to Shinyanga. So it's a fight. It's a fight to reduce non-revenue water because of the monthly bill. That monthly bill issued by Kashiwasa is what I call commitment and priority in WSSAs. Just assume Ruvu Juu and Ruvu Chini, there is a company there which issue monthly bill to DAWASA. Just assume there is a company in Capri Point, Mwanza, which issue monthly bills to Mwanza or WSSA. You can assume also if there is a company which operate and own Mafiga treatment plant, Mindu Dam in Morogoro, and issue monthly bill to Morogoro, the issue of non-revenue water would be a priority and a commitment to the board and management. So inadequate effort to reduce apparent losses than physical loss. We all know in WSSA practices there is a lot of hassling to reduce the losses that we can see by our naked eyes. But the losses that we cannot see, we normally don't have much efforts to reduce. Also, there is a dilapidated water network, so a great need for rehabilitation and effective assessment and the plan for rehabilitation is needed here. We know the water networks in most of the old cities are dilapidated, but we cannot replace all. We have to set priority. We have to do assessment. We must have criticality. We must set the critical areas to reduce, to rehabilitate, and reduce non-revenue water. So we must have effective assessment. The other challenge is we can see there is inadequate implementation of non-revenue water reduction strategies, guideline. As you can see, 57 WSSA out of 82 do not have approved non-revenue water reduction strategy. Also, those who have some have, there is inadequate implementation of the strategies. Sometimes it's just prepared for submission to the regulator. 32 WSSA out of 82 do not have bulk water meter for water sources. So it's very difficult to manage water. Thank you. It's very difficult to manage if you cannot measure. Also, there is a limitation to establish DMAs. The DMA is the district metered area for big utility, let's say like DAWASA. It's very difficult to manage non-revenue water if we take it as a holistically. So you have to divide hydraulically areas, as you can see here, and the area divided should be metered and separated hydraulically. So this is what we call district metering area. The vastness affects effort to reduce non-revenue water. Inside the utility, you should talk about areas that need to be reduced rather than talking about the whole percentage. Lastly, and to finish up, I thank you for your attention, but it's very important when you sit in your board and management, it's very important to see the other sources of water. And when you think of having a loan, and when you think of new sources of revenue and new sources of water, please don't forget to think of reducing non-revenue water. Thank you very much for your attention.
Makofi tena kwa Engineer Dickson. Asante sana sana kwa wasilisho zuri kabisa ambao limetupitisha kwenye hali ilivyo sasa hivi ya upotevu wa maji, nini kinafanywa na EWURA kusimamia swala hilo, lakini pia tunapoelekea ni wapi, tunatakiwa kufanya kitu gani. Kwa hiyo asante sana mtaalamu mhandisi Dickson kutoka EWURA. Tutapata wasilisho jingine, lakini kabla ya kupata wasilisho hilo ni wakumbushe tu, kama una ratiba, kuna mawasilisho matatu, lakini baada ya hapo kutakuwa kuna majadiliano. Kwa hiyo kama una maswali, kama una mchango wowote, unaweza ukauandika ukasubiria kipindi hicho, halafu utapata nafasi ya kuwasilisha. Naomba kwa sasa nichukue nafasi hii kumkaribisha Dr. Ganima Chanzi kutoka Chuo cha Maji. Dr. Ganima atafanya wasilisho kuhusu mfumo wa usimamizi wa mivujo ya maji. Dr. Ganima, popote ulipo, karibu sana kwa wasilisho lako. Let's put our hands together for her, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ganima Chanzi from Water Institute, and here for the presentation on our innovation on the system. Currently, we call it Integrated Leakage Management System, and okay. Let me continue. So I would like to share with you the innovation from Water Institute, and this innovation was prepared on behalf of Ministry of Water on the initiative on how we can combat this issue of non-revenue water in Tanzania. So as a technical team, we come up with some of the technicality in digital form on how we can tackle these issues of non-revenue water, and on how we can manage the process of water supply system activities in a digital way. So my presentation will consist of history of the system. I will share some research findings, stakeholders of this innovation, system design, system modules. I will see the system installation steps and the achievement to date where we are. So historically, we started around 2018. This is an innovation as a mobile application for just reporting leakage from community or from customers. So after conducting research and development around 2018 to 2020, then we come up with more ideas that non-revenue water is not all about water which comes from physical loss, but there is other reasons cause water utilities in Tanzania to face this challenge of having non-revenue water. So by 2020, we conducted the pilot at Gwasa, Igunga, and we found that the system works. Then still on research and development, we continue to develop some modules of which we have this current version to date, which is used by, we implementing in some areas of Uzawa, Mbeya Uwasa, and Tanga Uwasa. So from research, there is many issues. We found that the major reasons of this situation of non-revenue water. But I will mention a few, like we found that in most of the water utilities, they don't have what's so-called the DMWs. So it is very difficult to monitor the amount of water which is produced or which is delivered to customers versus the build the consumption from the customers. And another one, it was the issue of leakage, and there was a delay on leakage management, but also the unknown customers, unknown infrastructures, and unknown meters was issue of concern also. So from there, we developed the system, and let me share the stakeholders on this innovation. There is a team, which is technical team. We have programmers, GIS analysts, and the water engineers. But apart from that, we have supervisors who managers on all processes from the research, development, until now we are in implementation. So we have Dr. Adam Karia from Water Institute, but we have Minister of Water on a favor of Mr. Nitambe, who is in front of this team to lead us what to do. And also in system hosting, this system is already registered by EGA, and we are registered also in GovESB and in GISP, but also the system is hosted in National Data Center and already integrated with the Maji system. And research and piloting we conducted from GEWURA, EWURA, LUWASA, and IGUWASA. Currently, we already started implementation in some of the water utilities like Mbeya and Tanga. So the system design, or the system architecture, measured in 3 parts. As you can see, the first one is data. The system required data, which we use existing data from the water utilities, like the drawings for infrastructures, the customer information, which is available in the utility. And also, if the data is not available, we collect the raw data from the scratch. So we collect household data from every house. Then we collect all information about infrastructure, including pipe transmission, tanks, and all other infrastructure which are owned by the utility. But also, we get data from Maji system, which is the billing information. And all these data, when we do analysis, we follow under the guidelines, policy, and the standards provided by regulators and the Ministry of Water. So, after having the data, then the second part, we do analysis in our system. Then we come up with the third design or third part, which is a dashboard. And the dashboard now is the place where the end user can use on different activities on the water utility, like the commercial technical people, what's so-called the mafundi. They can use the system through this dashboard. But also in our system, you can manage to have different kinds of reports regarding on what you want to get. So in data collection, we are using mobile application, which is calibrated to use the GIS inbuilt apps in the smartphone. So we have the confidence of accuracy on location, and currently on the area where we implement, we have more than 300,000 household customers of 99% accuracy on location from different water utilities. And by now, these are the modules which are available in our system. As you can see, we are doing infrastructure survey and GIS analysis. In this system, when we use ILMS, there is no need of having another GIS package inside. We already integrate the GIS package in this system, so all the GIS activities can be done within the system. So there is no need of purchasing or paying a license of GIS system when you have this system. So we do infrastructure survey and GIS analysis, customer and GIS analysis. We monitor leakage by 2 mechanisms, manual and automatic. We monitor water level in water tanks and groundwater groundwater tanks also. And also we manage the process of new connection. We monitor water quality in two ways, digital and manual. We do water balance management, and this area is where is the last module where we come up with the calculation or intervention of non-revenue water. After having all these those modules, the water balance management is the last one. And also we monitor meter management activities within the utility, and we also perform debt collection analysis. As I said, the system is already integrated with Maji, so we have the billing information for every utility, so you can manage the debt collection process. As also on our research, we found that one of the challenges the water utilities is facing is the unpaid bills from the customers. And also the last one also we do for the Department of Planning, we have this module for them for the prospective customers analysis and the prediction. When we do our survey, we collect data from the household, even if they are not connected to the water utility services. So the purpose of collecting those data is to allow the water utility to do the planning activities on the table. There is no need of going site back and collecting data. Once you have this system, you can do planning activities where to increase your distribution line, and where there is the potential customers on your utility. And as you can see, after data entry on infrastructure and the survey, you can analyze, or you can have something like this on your dashboard. This is the some of the infrastructure part from Tanga Uwasa, one of the streets at Tanga Uwasa, where we currently working on implementation of this system. So you can have all of your infrastructure on your table. And for example, when you see at this small picture here at the right side, you can see you have the information of tanks, and you have the information of all networking, or all pipes from the tanks to the customers. So, like if we want to cut off the service from this tank, you can do analysis from the system. How many number of people will be affected by cut off that service? Or if we want to, to understand what the type of connection pipe you have in your system, all the analysis you can do in the system, and there is no need, as I said, of having a GIS system. You can use the inbuilt GIS system which is available in our system. And also, this is for customer. Once you collect data from the household, you have the customer information with their location and all information. We collect so many information from the household, like the communication or the contact number, the NIDA number. We collect the type of service. Maybe you have the water supply and the wastewater, and as required by the particular utility. So once you have the customer information, as you can see, the customers we categorize in colors. You can see we have the green color. If you see the green color, that means these are the active customers and they are connected. But if you see the this one blue color, that means these customers are disconnected. And the yellow, these customers, they are prospective. They are within the utility distribution system or distribution line, but they are not connected to service. So we collect this information because it's very important. If we want to increase the customers in your utility, you can just enter to the system and see where there is a potential customers. So even if we want to do, maybe you want to do a promotion to increase new customers, it is easy. Just you log into your system and you select the area or the street you want to do that activity, and you can analyze anything. And our system, we have the search engine which is modern, so you can filter any kind of issue you want to tackle. For example, in customers, if you want to filter, I want to know the disconnected customers maybe from zone A. So you can filter from the system, and the system will give you the report with all customers from that particular, and you can work it within a short period of time. And also, as you can see here in this small picture on the right, at the bottom, one of the challenges also we found on our research, it was from the customer department. They took a long period of time for collection of debts and also meter reading, because they depend on GIS department to print the list of customers, then they go manually to site. But through this system now, for the utility who are using, they just use mobile application to go to all customers. There is no need of printing papers. You just select what type of customers or who you want to reach, then you select from the system through mobile app, then you can get the direction to go. So even for the utility with a new employers, there is no need of having the person to introduce the new employer to the customers. Just through the system, you can access any customer, because you have location, you have contact, and everything. And also the system manage leakage, as I said. But in this module, we are still on research to find more modern technology. Currently, what we implement, we have digital or automatic management through the pipes which has no connection or pipes connected to go to the customers directly. So from the main transmission, we can monitor the pressure variations by using digital sensors, which we connect that hardware or that sensor to the system, and we monitor the level or the pressure change at every time, and it is a real time. But the challenge in this digital method, we lack the sensors for large size of large pipe size. And the other part of manual, we are using mobile application, of which the customers at a particular area, they are promoted to install the mobile app. For example, when you search from the Play Store, you can find our app called Zawa Kidigitali. That is one used from Zawa, Zanzibar. They use to communicate between customers and Zawa authority. So once the customer or the community, they see the leakage, we encourage them to report through the mobile app. Then after reporting, the information will be picked from the system, and the information will be also go directly to the technician who is assigned to working on that area regarding the leakage management issues. So all the conversation regarding the responding to that reported leakage will be monitored on the system. So even the supervisor can monitor on the system who is delaying to manage leakage. And according to internal arrangement, the utility can tell us when we set, what time do you want the technician to manage or to be able to clear that reported leakage. For example, for Zawa, maximum is 12, and other large leakage is 24 hours. So apart from that, the supervisor can deal with the technician on delaying of leakage management. So on leakage, where we are now, but we are still on research on how we can manage automatic leakage detection on large pipes or on main transmission. And also we do monitor water level in tanks, as we found that this area is one of the area which our water utility in Tanzania, they lose water because most of water tanks, they're located far from people. And once the tanks is full, there is no technician nearby to see that the water, the tank is full to close up the pump. So we monitor water level, and the information about the amount of water is a real time after every 5 seconds, and we monitor, and the system communicates directly to the technician to give the notification if the water in the tank is low and if the water tank is nearby to the full. And in this module, last month, we got a new technology by using a radar sensor, and we already implement it, and we are expecting to install it to Tanga at Kanget water tank. So we are expecting a more and a new result from that installation. And also the new connection. So as I said, this system will be within the Maji system, which is the major system used by Ministry of Water. So the new connection part from our system, we drop it, and the module will be developed or will be used from the Maji system. So new connection will not be applicable or implemented from this system. But also, as I said, we do water quality monitoring. We use 2 methods. By digital method, we are using digital sensors to control the indicator parameters, whereby we install these sensors in all the surveillance points, and the real-time information about water quality reported to the system, and from the system you can get the report as you see, and these are not the real data, they are just the demo data, and the report you get is already integrated, or they are already compared to the standard, the national standard, which is required for water quality. So this module is very useful for the personnel who maintain or conduct activities on treatment of water in treatment plants. And also, as I said before, we collect data even for the customers or the household who are not connected. So as you can see, for the people from the planning offices, these customers with yellow, they represent household which are not connected to water service. So, and you can see here, the distribution line, they end up in this area. So when you want to plan where to increase the distribution line, you can use the system to analyze the current location and where there is a potential customers. So even the economic or the financial point of view analysis can be done through this system. And also we do meter management because also we found that one of the area which caused the most of meters in our customers not to be registered in our system, and we found that many there is a lot of meters which lost which miss the accounting number for paying bills. They are registered as a meter number, but there is no accounting number for bill payments. So we manage the meter activities in the water utility so that there is no any technician can check the meter in the office without registering the accounting number. And also we are doing debt collection from the system. You can you can select the amount of debt which you want to deal. For example, this week the team is going to deal with the debt from Zone A only for people who have debt more than 100,000. So from the system you can filter those kind of customers, and you can get the direction from the system, and you can reach those customers through the system. So after all those activities, and regarding the previous presentation from my brother, we saw the full concept of non-revenue. So what we do, our system deals with all those problems which cause non-revenue water. So through the management of these activities, we manage unpaid billed customer. We manage unknown meter. We manage physical loss. We manage unbilled and unmetered consumption. So from those factors which cause non-revenue to be high is already managed in the system. So that means we are expecting the billing customers or the billed customers or the billed amount will be higher and the unbilled will be lower. So automatically we're expecting through implementation of all these modules and the functionality of all these modules